Alright guys, welcome back, and yes, the game you've all been waiting for will be coming up, and I have HYPERX alongside me here for the mandatory .gg Cup, and it's an Ignition series, so it's a big one. And well, HYPERX, what do we make of this matchup? Because honestly, it's a hard one to judge, because BBL, I mean, these guys have been tearing up their games. What do we make of them as a roster here?
I mean, it's fair to say there's a lot of questions coming in. This is definitely a wild card in our midst. I'm not going to lie. There's two obviously players that stand out to me, and that goes back to the previous roster they were on, Bread Hunters. But it looks like they found three very, very capable teammates. Just looking back at the stats, and again, we can only pull so much without having watched the games ourselves. But convincing is the story that I'm getting from all of this. Obviously, they rolled through TBD, who really impressed me personally yesterday. I was excited to see them actually go a little bit further, and Rix as well. That was a convincing 13-4, which again, they're no slouch. So again, it's a tall order to come up against G2, but I mean, on paper, they could be testing G2. To be honest with you, I'm scared for them to see what BBL can bring out, especially considering how eager chat has been to watch them play.
Yeah, chat has been dying to see these guys play. I know that a lot of these players are kind of Counter-Strike based players. I'm pretty sure I've seen them up in, FPL. They're good players. They are very, very good players. I don't know too much about the Turkish scene. I know Rip, I know Mitez, I know obviously Mithranes, these sort of players. But CNED certainly made a big impression earlier on in the scene. Definitely caught a lot of our attention there. That's NIP. We ain't watching NIP. Get them out of here. Get them out. That ain't even G2. Get them out of there. But no, they're a team that could definitely do some damage. Now, I'm never going to go against the Turkish scene, because I know the fans go absolutely wild for their team. They support them like there is no tomorrow. Look, I even learned some Turkish, because I've casted these tournaments before. I had to, you gotta get in favor with the crowd. So, merhaba to the Turkish fans out there, my guys. What's up? But it's a wait and see. We can look at those previous results, as you said, but it's a bit of a guesswork there. And we're going to have to just come in with fresh eyes and see how they look, see what the team looks like. Because we know what G2 are like. We know that. We already know how good they are. We don't need to highlight what they go well on. I want to see what BBL do for the veto, what plays well for them. Chat's in mad spam mode. So normally I'd ask chat like, hey, what sort of map to expect, what are the players to look at? But, we'll just deal with the BBL spam for now. But Haven coming as their pick. So we'll see how they look on that. And get a scent, of course. To be expected.
I do want to discuss the bind ban. That's and again, I've talked about this previously, but I've seen G2 avoid bind a couple of times now. So I'm not surprised to see that, but I don't know why that is. They've impressed me a couple of times in the times I've seen them play that map, but it's no surprise they've come out with the way they took control of Ascent earlier. It's no surprise to see them pick Ascent as their choice. Again, we're going to see Split as the decider if we go the distance, but I'm excited to see things start off on Haven, because again, G2 they have a very interesting play style to Haven.
They do. Honestly, taking out bind is probably just taking away comfort. Most teams can play bind, maybe. Maybe it's that sort of theory. I don't know. I don't think there's a weak map for G2, so maybe it's just, okay, let's take away something we know they're good at. I don't know if that's the case. I think it'd be nice to hear from them in the end. And of course, if you guys were waiting to hear from Carlos Ocelot, I'm pretty sure the interview might be happening later if we can get hold of him. I think his internet, where he was at that point, wasn't so spot on. So once he gets that good internet back with him, we'll get that interview going. But we can have a quick look at this. I don't know the win conditions here for BBL. I'm thinking individuals popping off. I want to see CNED looking really, really strong. I want to see them coming out and looking confident. I think you need a good start against G2. Otherwise, G2 get way, confident. They get not necessarily ahead of themselves, but they become so powerful to play against.
Yeah, I mean, my eyes actually go towards, actually looking like we're not going to have DLL. So I did mention him. He is down on the roster, but I don't know if he's stood in at some point throughout this, or he's registered as the substitute for this event. But, I mean, ones to watch are going to be Aslam Shadow. He's, again, we can only take from what the stats tell us, but I mean, he's pretty much consistently averaging over 300 average combat score, which usually implies a player's putting in quite a lot of work. And we've seen him kind of playing that duelist role. Again, first blood count not too high, but he's getting work done. Again, CNED looking more like he's going to be playing on the Jet, and that's always a fantastic one to watch. But he's coming up against Mixwell, so I'm going to be interested to see if they opt to take that duel, because I talked about earlier Dream Chasers in that series not really playing into G2's hands in terms of taking those fights, and I think we saw that kind of actually benefit G2 overall anyway, because David P was just allowed to do whatever the hell he wanted on Ascent. We saw how that went from there's nobody stacked up for a trade. He was just able to completely unopposed get 3 separate 1v1s on occasion. So those are the two to watch, because I think a lot of it comes down to getting first blood against G2 and using the man advantage.
Yeah, I think it's definitely on the list of things they have to achieve. I'd say as well, for me, if it's going to be a win for BBL, they have to pick up map 1. Ascent is not a map you often ever pick up a result against G2 on. You can look at the third map, Split could have a shot on that too. That becomes a bit of an equalizer. But we have to kind of play this as realists here. You can't read too much into the hype yet until we see it ourselves. Map 1 has to be a big statement pickup. So I'm not sure what to expect from them. I think this is me coming in blind to it, but they have taken down notable names on the way, BBL. Yeah,
and Haven, I mean, dare I say it, Dream Chasers made him work for that victory earlier on Haven. Again, I don't think that was necessarily down to Dream Chasers kind of excelling, but G2 kind of some hiccups along the way. They were losing some weird thrifty rounds, which you don't really see G2 do. So that is a factor to consider as well. That is the first map, and again, we say it all the time. It's never nice to have to come back and reverse sweep a series after losing the first map.
Yeah, very true. I would say as well that there's, again, the reason that I have to look at this in a critical manner is that G2 are arguably the best in Europe right now, and not even arguably, they are. Yeah. They've maintained that position pretty comfortably. One benefit is if they underestimate these opponents, if they don't play them very much in practice, they don't know what they're like to play up against. I don't know how much they often play against each other. Whereas that they've probably played Dream Chasers, they've probably played your NIPs, correct. So it's like they'll know what they're like to play against. They'll know their strong suits. Do they know what makes BBL great though? I don't know. I don't know how much they're able to prep for this, but I do know that if they get challenged, I've only ever seen G2 rise to the occasion. So it's gonna be very tough going forward. Hopefully we can jump into game nice and quick to get this started, because honestly I just want to sit back and watch for a couple of rounds here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's two terrifying things to play against a team, and that's the team that ultimately is the one that wants to come out and prove something, and on the flip side of that, a team that's doesn't really play to kind of that expectation. And we talk about how often scrims get, and we're purely referring to there's certain anticipation. You're going to expect the team to react based off some information. They draw first blood, they're going to push C long or something like that. With a team that you're not kind of rehearsed against, it's very difficult to read. And Haven ultimately is a map that I keep saying it, but there is a psychological warfare element. The old bait and fake, and the rotation factor for defense is huge on Haven, more so than any other map, I would argue. So that's definitely something that I'm expecting BBL to take as an opportunity to put some work in. Okay, BBL fans in chat. I don't know if I can get through to you in chat. I don't know. This is tough because the spam is wild right now. The G2 fans are in there. Like, it's going to be brutal in chat. So if I can't reach you on chat, at me on Twitter, at Pansy, get in touch with HYPERX as well. Let us know who to look out for on this BBL roster, because I know you guys will have watched all their streams. I know you guys are dedicated. We kind of theorize, Aslan, CNED are the two to kind of watch out for, but maybe there's a player we're missing who's definitely the player who could spark something. So let us know on Twitter who you think is the players to look out for here. Maybe that will come true. I don't know, but maybe you can put it in chat. Maybe we'll catch it. At the moment, I don't think we're going to see anything other than BBL and G2 logos. There is, I think, Putin's there as well. I mean, we ain't going to get much from chat here, but as said, let us know, or use the hashtag, of course. Hashtag mandatory. It helps us out. Get in touch and let's have a look at those picks. I wonder if there's anything unique going to come through from the agent choices. I'm not sure. I kind of harped on earlier. It was interesting to see Dream Chasers kind of double down on that double duelist. I've used the word double quite a few times there, but the two duelist composition they're going for. And BBL, again, looking at the screens from the previous games, you can see that they've done exactly the same thing, and it's looking like it's working really well for them. Again, I'm going to trust that it's correct this time around, but it looks like we're going to have a pretty similar setup on the side of G2 as we would expect. G2 starting off on defense here. You see some heavy presence down towards Sewers here. Spike has gone down, but David P's got himself tucked up, and he's actually going to take a headshot from the Ghost there. So BBL will draw first blood.
Look, I'm going to say this. BBL are not upper map. Don't worry, the UI, it's there it goes. These boys are fraggers. If you get to FPL in CS, you're a fragger. You got the aim. So you got to be careful on that. This is going to be a bloodbath. G2 are up for the fight. They're actually challenging this. They're going to pretty loose this. They are outnumbered drastically. Artis is still there. He's going to have to back away. Pit actually is the one who makes it out alive. I am amazed at the aggression from G2, and I think this is the thing. They're trying to test out what BBL are like.
They're dipping their toe. They're dipping their toe right now.
Let's see if the water's hot, or if we've got a little bit of a cooler approach, and this is the perfect approach from BBL. If they keep going this way, they've done them.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see G2 over-rotate so much. They got all of the information there with that aggressive push down Sewers. So this is a bit strange, but Spike will go down on A. There's a wall blocking off the defensive spawn. Mixwell's making his way down through mid towards window, and actually there's a spy cam going to pick up that information, so they know there's going to be the flank potential here. But G2 find themselves in a 3v4 retake scenario in the pistol round, and this probably hasn't gone as they would have expected this to.
No, for sure. And this is a pump-up moment for BBL as well. The confidence they gain from picking up the pistol is huge in comparison to G2 doing it. G2 are going through what we'd expect to see, and Kero just going to catch Patty Tech, and there's Lego finding Pit. This is all looking great. This should be a clean pistol too. Yeah. Nicely done. 4 standing, Spike down. Game on. I think, as we mentioned, I think G2 are going to test the pacing here. They're not gonna come into this and respect the opponent in game, right? Which is the right thing to do. You got to test them out. You got to test the waters, see if they're able to deal with you being aggressive. You got to play that no respect style, which works so well. Some teams will fold under that pressure. BBL stood up to the task instantly on rifles too.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about that is G2 showing that aggression. It's now going to keep BBL guessing the start of every round. Are they going to try that same thing? Paranoia through Sewers, they push up and they commit to the fight. Again, it's the pistol round, but I'm absolutely with you there. They're showing presence and maybe just trying to get inside BBL's head within the first round. Like I said, it was an interesting setup. I was surprised to see them commit to it and then react incorrectly to the information, but I definitely think it's it's a good taste for what we're going to see for the rest of Haven.
Let's see if CNED's aware.
Yep.
More than aware. CNED crisp as hell. Pit's been outdone. And I like the patient approach from BBL here. They felt out if there was like a mad stack aggression on pistols. They were just kind of holding a default. They've gotten the entry on a pretty expected angle. Pit gets outdone on that. But now, of course, the rest of the team can heavy stack towards A. We saw this is where they had to before. You'll imagine this goes BBL's way, and something goes terribly wrong here. Yeah,
and actually, David going to get caught with a slow orb in his hand. Mixwell still here, but he's not going to be able to do too much damage from that distance with the shorty. He's down to 31 HP, so he's got to back all the way out here. Spike will go down. I think G2 are just going to settle for some exits here. It's a tall order with a shorty and a classic for retake 2v5, but again, slow, methodical push there through A. You can see already 3 members of BBL on the hunt. They want to punish. They want to get that ultimate orb. But yeah, I mean, first 2 rounds, anything to go by. We've got a match on our hands here, Pansy.
We do. It's the win conditions are there right now, and that's what we look at. You got G2, exactly as you said, posed for these post-plant scenarios where they're just waiting for these players on exits. They're not going to be able to get the guns away, and if they did, it would have been actually quite damaging, considering they were up on those rifles. But keeping 5 alive is outstanding because, well, 4 now, not bad. because they invested heavily into those rifles to start with, and they've been able to spread the wealth, get it back onto CNED, so they still keep all the guns up. He can reinvest into the op. So normally, if you follow the economy, it would be G2 having a favorable purchase here over BBL, even though they won the first two. But because they went straight up on the rifles and they kept it clean, we have an even fight coming in on the third round.
Yeah, and that's risky because usually, you know, if you are the one to, like you said, win the first two, you see kind of a balls to the wall SMG play in round 3, and that's if they've kept all SMGs and nobody's died and had to upgrade. So this is even matchup here in round 3. Interested to see now. We're going to see Pat actually dropped the dark cover at the top of C-Long. I think he caught the pick. So it's usually the ponytail of Sage that gets spotted more than anything. So tried to send some Vandal shots through there, but didn't find any value off it just yet. The Paranoia sent out, and he's actually backed all the way up. They're going to commit to the retake here, but David P will fall inside connector. Pat good for the trade, and okay.
Yeah, Mixwell's still in this. CNED is just tearing them apart. They overpushed on the defensive side then. This is some of that aggression, some of that confidence that we see being such a win condition, such a big factor for G2, being punished. So now a 2v2 post plant. CNED still posted up on the site. Pattytech trying to work through towards that kind of, connector area. They know where he's going to be coming from. And you have the Cypher over towards Long. Pit with a nice pick towards CNED means it's back in towards a 1v2. Pattytech with a great timing to find Kero and his game back on. G2 on the board. BBL finally met their match on that, but that was a close round. That was a 2v2 post plant. This is not a whitewash at all.
No, that's... I mean, we talk about kind of controlling the aggression of G2 and... okay, dare I say it, keep them in their cage, but that's a big round for G2 to flip back. Again, Pat fully committing to the retake. I like that. He had David and Mixwell in connector. And the favors went in their trade, but I mean, BBL still got control of site there. They got the spike down.
Yep.
They're going to be investing back into this. So again, they're showing some life. It's good to see. We don't want to see complete stomps through all the series, and now we're getting to the stage of the event where obviously these guys have really earned their spot so far.
So the most through this tournament that anyone against G2 has garnered was 8 rounds. We'll see how they fare going forward. I like this aggression towards A-Long. This is something I like. It's very much, Inferno, banana control. It's very, very valuable. Artist gonna get CNED. Now you can see the flex coming through from short, but he loses it. Artist, you're an animal. Where's that third just come from? Russ just goes down. Artist single-handedly has just destroyed this round for them, and he's gonna get more. Of course he is. It's Artist.
This is... talked about them controlling the confidence, but this is... straight into the next round. You can see G2's reaction to it. Artist showing why he's one of the most mechanically talented in Europe right now. Absolutely shutting that push down. I was going to find David P. Pop the neural theft. That's questionable in the 1v3, but I guess he fancies his chances with Mixwell down to 30 HP, Artist down to 5, so it's definitely winnable, but he's not sitting pretty either in terms of HP.
No, if he can get past the jet, there it is. That was the first step. If he got Mixwell, then okay, fair play, but no. Not to be the case, and yeah, Artist can be pumped for that one. That's going to be a nice little wake-up call for the Turkish boys. All right, here's our opponents. There's a reason G2 are the best in Europe. We've got to bring A game and beyond. So that's the individual potential coming in. But let's see what we get back. Now, of course... the economy is pretty broken here for the attacking side now. They're down to the frenzies, sheriffs. Getting guns away, that's your number 1 priority.
Yeah. Yeah, again, added bonus if they can get the spike down, but right now, if you're going to invest 800 credits in, you want to take those 2,900 rifles off the board for the enemy team. What a mid-presence here. We did hear the Blade Storm get popped, and unfortunately the UI is not going to tell me which side it was, but... we usually do see the thrifty round. Yeah, I was going to say the thrifty round. They're probably, they have invested it, absolutely. There's a heavy C push coming through here, Lauren.
Yeah, this ain't bad either. With Russ finding Pattytech, it's not even the jet. This is good. They're going to be able to try and isolate one at the back. Artist falls. Hello. Sheriffs galore. They're going to be sweating bullets. CNED's found Mixwell. And suddenly, how is this the case? They've even got the ultimates up here. This is a problem for G2. It's just Pit left, I'm pretty sure. And he's locked in CT. They've turned this in a round they should not have had. This is one of those. And look how smart they are. They're gathering all those guns. They're feeding them back. That's a fumble. Aslan banged through the wall. Pit's like, all right, don't underestimate me now. Don't throw this one. He'll take this for sure, but time to get that up and back away. That's more important for the long term. And what a round from BBL. Sick little play on those sheriffs.
Yeah, really good. They just get up in G2's face, take the fight to him, and I mean, we set that up perfectly. We talk about doing damage to the economy and the equipment. They've taken 4 weapons off the board. Pit will keep the operator, and I'm going to go ahead and assume that's going to go back into the trusting hands of Mixwell. But yeah, that again, I talked about G2 kind of fumbling through a few thrifty rounds. They just get overwhelmed there. And I mean, we see G2 kind of default to 2 alternatives when they're defending, and that's the AAA stack with the Cypher setup on B, which I was talking about in the previous series, and then they show a lot of C presence, which is what we see now. We've got Mixwell and Garage, Ardis over on C site, and Pat there as well. And I think in that scenario, okay, that was pretty clean. That's a fantastic response in terms of building confidence there. Mixwell will find CNED off the rip. Hunter's Fury going to get invested here as well from Ardis. They're just trading blow for blow here, Lauren.
This is kind of what I expected from these two, if I'm honest. I really thought this was going to be one of those kind of like, not scrappy, but brutal battles. They don't expect the mid-presence from David P here. They have no idea. That Sage coming through is going to be almost a misread of information. And oh, Aslan somehow held that. I'm amazed that they still held that angle after Russ crossed towards double door. And now a 3v3. This favors attackers, especially with a minute left. They can normally overwhelm and trade in effectively on a site. But you do have Mixwell on the prowl still. So still plenty of threat. Pit's going to kind of fall into like, okay, site defense mode. They're going to show a little bit of utility towards A. But doesn't look like that's where they're heading. But they might cause a rotation or two.
Yeah, you see Mixwell's backed all the way up into the defensive spawn elbow. And Ardis back behind Plat in the same position as last round, where they did get gunned by those sheriffs. So Mixwell going to find Rust. That's pretty huge. The information going to get relayed across now. Pit going to come out. Ardis finds Aslan. Now he's going to put the recon up and hope that Mixwell can clean this up. Oh, he actually misses it through the dark cover, and the recon bolt's not going to get the second tag, so not going to be able to clean this one up initially. And he's actually going to take the 1v1. That's interesting there, because the time was still in favor to get the plant down. Dark cover going to go into connector. Pit already tucked up here. There you go. We'll find it. That was interesting though from Mixwell.
Do we? The thing is, I never want to. The thing is, G2. G2 should always play with an ego. It makes them play better, right? And until you're humbled enough by a team winning rounds against you, you get away with it, right? You got to be confident. And it's the same with like a lot of the picks you'll see, you know, the likes of like Wardell getting, and you know, these crazy oppers who take these kind of like crazier fights. And it will take someone like a Sinatra, I think is like the easy example, to slow that down. And until you get that, you run it. You run it all day freaking long. You just keep doing it because it gets in their head. Okay, is Mixwell going to fly through double doors? Is he going to go peak middle this time? Where's he going to be? Is he over at A long? He's shown so much versatility on this op already that it's very hard to track that.
Yeah, keep him on the back foot, keep him guessing. Where's he going to peak from next? And that's why we see Jets rotate all over the place with the operators. You see BBL again go for some heavy garage presence. Pat this time here to defend. He's going to be ready with the paranoia though, for sure.
Yeah, you've got Ardis tucked over towards C. Mixwell lingering over by the backside of spawn. Last time they did pretty well here. Mixwell's going to find Lego on the way though. That's not a bad scalp to claim, but seen it crisp as you like. That Sheriff doing damage. Spike can get planted, and it's going to be a 4-play post-plant at this point for both teams, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, both sides with 4 standing. Let's see what this plant's like. Let's see if they hold it. Quick info towards window. But they haven't been able to garner a kill just yet.
No, and the slow orb. Going to cut this off a little bit, and there's no flank here coming from GT. They're all going to commit to coming through garage and the defensive spawn elbow, and you see BBL just want to hold down the site as well. Mixwell going to pop the Blade Storm and go in aggressive here. Not going to find anything with the first couple. That's going to pull in the rest of the G2 members. CNED will find another one. Aslan is good for 3, and they will clean that up and hold on to the C site. That's fantastic from BBL.
They're taking so many heads-up fights. They weren't sitting in like very passive post plants. All of them were facing, but like deeper angles. Yeah. So you had CNED facing, you had Aslan facing. it's so much confidence that you're going to land the shots, right? And you to keep that confidence against someone like G2 is really admirable, because honestly, 9 times out of 10 for most other teams, someone like G2 will win that fight.
Yeah,
for now, though, BBL, they're popping off.
No, that's actually fantastic. See, they're taking active crossfire instead of, like I said, defaulting back to C long, holding, you know, really passive spots. And I mean, it's great to see a team actually take the game to G2 like this. I'm hoping they can keep this up. As I say that, AORUS going to find one down in sewers. He's got 2 more to worry about, though.
Yeah, don't doubt AORUS.
No.
don't go in any lazy manner against this man. Still very strong, but CNED outdoes him in the end on the lower HP. But now the attacking side has the site. That's gonna be spiked down, I'm pretty sure. There is Mixwell up above, but remember, they're... Oh, no. Oh, Mixwell! He gets one with a 1-for-1 trade back in it, but no spike was planted. It's game back on. This double stack on short could do some work now, and they're holding. They're waiting to see if anyone pushes back in. Aslan's so smart, dude. He's so smart. He just held that push. That's wild. David P can back away, but... Oh...
He's got the res if he wants to invest it here, and it looks like he's going to get AORUS back on his feet. Spike will go down behind default, so he has got a good angle to play here. Kiro's going to find the first with the Vandal. HP in the favor of AORUS, and he doesn't lose those. We'll find his 3rd on the round and the defuse. That is actually insane that Aslan was holding that. He's read the situation perfectly. I mean, didn't expect the double stack down in sewers, but wow. They are aware.
Wow, that was very well done. Great round though from G2. Let's pull it back into context. They were on a 3 round, of course. That presence from AORUS towards short was great. We got to switch up of positions here. It looks like AORUS is going over towards A. You've got, I think, Pit heading towards C this time, so a little bit of a switch around in position.
But this is what I'm saying, and this is where they set up for those executes on defense, where they'll put Pit over on, you know, either B or C. He'll put his utility down there, and you can see the heavy A presence here. But again, it's going to be BBL showing a lot of presence out in mid, outside the double doors. Dark cover going to cut off the front side of B. And again, now they have AORUS tucked away at sandbags. You can see Pat and Mixwell both pull off. They know there's not going to be any early round push coming out that way. And actually, the recon bolt going to give away Aslan's position as well as the audio cue. So David P going to throw down a slow orb and hold steady with the judge for the time being.
Judge is so good in these positions too. Yeah. It's just like, it's prime area. So many, before the update as well, so many 50-50s that you could just sit in and wait. But for now, you're going to see that kind of lean back towards A. It's going to turn into the AORUS show again, potentially. Let's see if he's aware of this.
I think he's heard it, yeah.
Definitely he's got a feeling. Maybe the smokes from Omen helping out as well to paint the picture. But for now, he's fallen back to sight. Has to keep check on this, because he is solo. He's got Mixwell there now with him. So both of the players on the site, he can fall back to a more passive angle. You don't want to allow the T side to get any free picks, and that's what they're looking for. Opening picks. They can now fall back away towards B if they fancy. Ooh, nice moves from CNED to stay alive against Paddy Tech, but here comes the push. They're going to follow off the back of this.
Yeah, the Hunter's Fury gets invested from outside A Link, and actually... Oh, okay. David still comes out on top of that one, but Spike goes down. Pat will find one in response. He'll find a second now. Pit there to clean up, but Kiro trades back onto it. Now, Kiro got it back all the way up to mid. It's planted for him, but this is difficult to hold.
Yeah, they're pinging the spike out for him, so he's got a chance at it, but 3 players. Smoke still up. Mixwell's found him. It's done. And I want to give credit there to Paddy Tech. Considering how quick that pressure mounted, he backed away from it. He gave up the site, but he stayed present, playing at the back of Gong, able to do damage. But what a back and forth affair this is. Would we argue this is more attack-sided, though?
I think, yes. I think it's fair to say. And at pro level, I think that's the way we've seen things go historically. So, I mean, it says something that BBL are actually getting the spike down. That's what, the 3rd or 4th defusal round win we've seen for G2. So, BBL are getting in there. They're getting involved, and they are getting control. But, I mean, you're absolutely right to call out Pat there. He's done fantastically well today of being the solo man on the site. Mixwell again finds that timing. That's the second time we've seen him literally hit the exact same shot through the cloud burst. This time it was a cyber cage last time, but
for now. A little bit of a trading blow there, losing one on either side. But AORUS, he never lets him get away with anything. That's the one thing I'm watching with this player. He'll never let you kind of get away with, maybe no one's going to push up A long.
Yeah.
That's information instantly. They know that, okay, B and C, get ready, boys. They ain't over here. So you can get yourself prepared. Now, obviously, you should always be prepared, I know, but it's how it goes. Now, C, not so surprised, but this time, David P, new position. He hasn't been here before. This is sick from David P. Oh, beautifully played in combination with the cage coming out on the one-way. And now Pitt's going to have a nice, easy cleanup at the end. Very well done.
Yeah. And again, you're absolutely right. AORUS pushing through to that spot. As soon as Pat falls, you would expect there's going to be a collapse onto that site. But G2 reacting so well. AORUS going up, gets all the information necessary, and Mixwell lurking around behind the garage window. And obviously, as we saw, David P and Pitt still there to defend C site. And that's something you don't see from a lot of teams. A lot of teams, they over-rotate, they react to the information, they'll send an extra person over to A as soon as Pat falls. AORUS has got the confidence to just sit there and say, no, boys, I got this. If they do push me, I'll take the 1v3. And then you can rotate.
G2 getting a little antsy towards middle, keeping presence up. They're kind of re-finding that confidence now, it seems. They've kind of gauged the opponent, right? They're a bit dangerous, but we can still do a bit of damage. TP coming in from the Omen up towards Heaven, it looks like. Maybe in Hell now, actually, excuse me. They are on the site. It's a bit of a mix buy. We've got Sheriffs galore, but Russ finds Mixwell to begin things off with. We've got to see if that spike gets planted. Pitt with a freebie on Kero through the cage, but spike now down. We're in another post-plant retake time for the G2 boys, being put through their paces, and these post-plants aren't bad either, but this angle for CNED is so tricky to hold. And there it is. AORUS and Pitt on the play back in. Lego finds one, but it's AORUS to succeed time and time again.
It's interesting to see BBL aren't scared to just go invest a couple of weapons.
Zero fear.
Yeah, no fear. 3 people run up with Sheriffs and they've got an AR to trade it. And again, they got the spike down, Lauren, so they're getting into sites. And that's something we don't see a lot of teams achieve against G2.
Yeah, it's the mentality that I love from these guys. It's the fact that they're just so confident. They're willing to take these fights. They don't bow under the pressure, and it means we see the best being brought out of players like AORUS, Mixwell, Pitt, Pat Attack, David. All these players now being put through their paces. So even if BBL loses this game, I don't care. This has been the hardest game I've seen G2 have to play in a little while. We'll see if that continues. This is only map 1 of 3, of course, best of 3s, different situation altogether. For now, it's Mixwell posted up over towards long.
Oh, Pat's actually TP'd all the way in here.
Oh my god.
Okay.
CNED is just too smart. CNED 10 Head is the new name. Aslan Zed find Mixwell. And A's open. It's been AORUS who stopped this before, and he's going to have to stop it again. Russ instantly denies. Bangers of a shot comes through. These boys are spicy.
Yeah, and again, Spike will go down. Last round of the half here, and G2 have a tall order. Well, okay, now it's even taller for the one and only David P. Again, that was just so clean. Do you know what? It was an interesting play. If Pat would have got away with that TP up onto the box inside lobby, then okay.
Yeah.
But CNED, like you said, 10 head, just absolutely read that perfectly.
Dude, this is a great game. 7-5 on the half is excellent. Again, I have to call it. The first pistol round did go, you know, the certain ways, and we have to kind of treat it as such. But this is BBL bringing G2 into a competitive matchup, and I'm never going to be upset by that. We'll see what it looks like on the flip of the half, though. We've only seen one side of the story. Can you even see one side of a story? I guess you can, but it's a bit of a weird saying. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be fun going forward. And these guys look like they're feeling it too. BBL certainly not down and out. They're feeling pumped up too. Let's see what happens in this first pistol in the second half here. I
mean, I felt like Dream Chasers tested G2 a little bit on Haven, and this is something else. So, pistol round, we always say it's big to win, but I always argue the second half one, especially when you're in a round deficit, is even bigger. I see David P might not be expecting that frenzy from CNED, but a trade will go through on site, and now they're aware of somebody down in sewers. He's going to get spammed out with the shock bolt, and that one gets cleaned up pretty easily. So G2 will get control of site. Spike will go down. 3 members left for BBL. Let's see what they can do here with a retake.
Retakes are tricky. These guys, I feel like the attacking side suits them so well because they can be aggressive, they can define the fights, but now they have to play into the hands of G2 in good post plants, mostly posted up towards short side. They've got a little presence on long. Aslam with another belting shot. Wants the follow-up, not going to get it on Patty Tech. And now we've got to look at who's left. Lego still standing, but against 2, AORUS and Pit, I'm pretty sure, still standing in this. Tries to draw the fight on 1. He's got it. Oh, if he got the swing. He's got some time. He's got to make his move now. It has to be now. And yeah, Pit's buying time. He knows it. Pit is going to do the dance. He's going around and around he goes. Nice try from Lego, but Pit, too aware, too smart, too calm and collected. But honestly, a close retake, but a round nonetheless for G2.
Yeah, it is. And again, G2's utility use is just to call out. They buy just the right amount of time so that AORUS has his recon bolt available. As soon as the spike goes down, the dark cover gets planted over short. They're happy to just play inside that dark cover because they know within 5 seconds, AORUS has a recon. Anybody pushing out of that defensive spawn elbow, they're going to get spotted. And what does he do? He saves the owl drone as well. That there is fantastic utility management. And it becomes so crucial in post plant as well, especially in a pistol. If you have all of those tools at your disposal, it's time as well, Lauren.
It certainly is. Oh, Lego. Oh, the timing. No. Patty Tech takes him down. That could have been really nice. Could have found a little bit of form with that frenzy, but this looks like it's going to be 9 quite quickly for G2. Clean. Playing more traditional with the Spectres rather than those early rifles, of course. Probably not able to after not getting the same clean first round. For now, Mixwell getting aggressive. Gonna try and clean up. Russ already shown that he can do some big things with his sheriff. There's one of them.
There's one of them, yeah.
Let's see if there's any more.
I was going to say, I thought it was going to be David P that caught the fright of his life there, but it's actually AORUS that gets punished in connector. He's still here, wants to just do a little bit more damage. He's going to find David as well, and now G2 are going to come up and react to it. Pat will find him through the wall for his 3rd on the round there. So, again, some damage done to the inventory, I'll say, for G2, but a couple of Spectres still on the board. 2 buys. Actually, I think Pat already had the Vandal from the previous round, my mistake. And now BBL able to buy back into this. CNED got the operator in his hand. So going to expect him to try and get some early round value off of that. And we can see CNED over on A site right now. So let's see if he can draw first blood here.
Yeah, let's go, Lego. Let's see what you got here as well. That last round probably frustrating for him. Spotting out the dart. Instantly denies it. Deals with the drone. Doing well. Mixwell goes down. Does commit on the second. AORUS making that Spectre apparently a long-range gun, but Kero finding Pit, and there's Azan chiming in. Means that this isn't going to be clean. They're held up on long, but AORUS again.
He just challenges through the slow warp. I love that. Absolutely love that. And the Boombot even gave it away as well, so Azan getting absolutely gunned down by AORUS. He's already found the 3 here. He was good for both trades on site as well. David and AORUS now the last 2 up for G2. They still have a lot of time left, 50 seconds left on the clock, so they can slow work their way through here. Actually, again, just kind of baiting them. They've gone straight back to garage here, and it's probably going to be a C push. We've got CNED rotating over towards A-Link, and Kiro's still holding down in the defensive spawn, but he's not going to have LOS there.
Yeah, G2 trying to feel this out, see if they can clear cleanly. They have. Spike's going to go down. It won't be too tricky to get back into position. They've heard that. They know what's up now. Definitely hearing the wall as well, so they know it. AORUS is going to be on point here. Does actually going to go double up towards C long, so a more traditional post plant.
Well, the thing is, he's still got both of his shock bolts here. And if they take a long time, if BBL take a lot of time getting into sight here, it's all playing into G2's hand. I mean, David has no utility left, but I think they're literally... The reason they've planted in this corner, Lauren, is because they want to play off the shock bolts. So...
yeah, I'd love to sit in that perspective, see if we can watch AORUS here.
Oh, the Hunter's Fury.
Oh, he's got the ultimate. Yeah, he's got it all. They've drawn that out. They're trying to run the time down, which is good. Kero finding David P. Oh, no. What?
Okay. I thought we were going to see some fancy lineup from AORUS there, but we didn't even see him get used, so
I'm amazed at that peak. It was that double peek in that AORUS just stepped into. I don't know how Pitt died. Ooh, was it David P?
Yeah.
It was David P. Wow, okay. First time we've really seen them, like, struggling a bit there. That was a miscommunication or just, like, a misplay slightly?
I mean,
obviously, excellent work from BBL.
Yeah, fantastic, but that post-plant position, David P stays in cubby. As soon as the Hunter's Fury gets popped, you know that you can kind of expect BBL might want to push and close some of the distance to kill AORUS, but David P being in cubby, he stops that. So there's no reason to peek back onto site there.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. But maybe, you know, this is why I'd love to have a post-game interview, just talk it through, see what the theory was. Obviously, they make mistakes, it happens, but maybe that was an idea. But CNET is on patrol. He's seen enough. He got that owl drone over at long to start with. Now, he's watching towards sewers. That short play towards A. He's going to hear steps on long. He's got to depend on his teammates to bail him out, because he's pinned in. Yes, he's Jet. He can try and dash away, but he wants something for it. That looks so close to being on, but doesn't land. Oh, that does, though. Pitt going to be kicking himself for the cage. Or was that his opponent's? No, that was Pitt's cage, I'm pretty sure. So, for now, all working good, but a reflex move here coming out from the likes of AORUS and Patty Tech to pressure mid. That was a really nice theory, but they still have players dedicated towards B.
Yeah, and Trey's going back and forth, but in favor of BBL for sure. And here you go. Kiro's going to shut down Mixwell. David P's got him tucked just at the top of short. I think he's going to sit there and maybe just try and find a kill. He's not going to find one because Kiro's there, stacked up with CNED. And
game on.
Yeah, now it's a 2-round game now. And I'm going to be honest, BBL are looking really good, Lauren.
There should be another round. There should be 9-8. Looking at the economy, should be 9-8. I want to look at that hit, though. I like the intention. G2 pulling that off. My mind goes to Cloud9. A couple of other teams do it. The split where you kind of pressure short A, you then kind of send maybe two. Ideally, you want to have maybe a Sage do it, just for that Sage wall in middle, to split it right down. Under that word B site, you split it right there, Sage wall goes up, and then you can pinch towards A link. You normally catch those players on rotation who are sitting deep towards that A link kind of CT side. It works very, very well. A couple of teams in NA have definitely been running that over and over again. Bit of a pause here. Hopefully it's not a timeout or anything. Maybe something happening there. We'll find out. I think they're coming back to us for a second, so we'll try and find out what's going on if we can. Pause for the players. Are we allowing tactical timeouts? I actually don't know.
Not sure. It's been allowed in the other Ignition series, so I'm not sure. That, again, without any notification here, we just got to assume it's a server issue, I guess. But it's a pause from the players. I don't know why yet.
Yeah. Honestly, if it is a tactical timeout, I wouldn't be surprised if it's G2 calling it just to keep control of their economy, but that almost seems too humble from G2 to do. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen G2 have to pull off any sort of tactical timeouts or anything. They're still leading, so it's probably a technical, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're saying a sound problem. I mean, honestly, when it's online, the amount of times my keyboard isn't working, the classics come out and you just talk through a round or two.
I thought you were being serious there. Your keyboard isn't working. I was going to mention the coffee incident earlier again.
Do you know what? The funny thing is, I literally broke... well, I didn't break, but my keyboard did get put to its death, bathed in another beverage. I just need to stop having drinks on my desk. Really recently, I literally had a brand new keyboard for like the last week because that was what happened to the last one. So I need a bib or maybe a sippy cup. I need to get my life together is what I'm saying here.
It's still socially acceptable to use sippy cups. I don't think there's an age restriction on them.
Get out of my
I bloody hope not, otherwise I'm screwed. Lego this time. Forced off it. You can see Jet dashing up on site now. Outdone. Nice work from Mixwell, closing that gap real quick. Russ goes down too. This pacey hit coming out is dangerous. Aslan is doing everything he can to slow this down, to deny its efficacy, to try and just cut it off before it gets too deadly, and he's done just that. There is still threats aplenty, but you could have seen they would have loved to have run that straight through, keep that pressure up, get that spike down. That was going to be the perfect round start, but no. Nicely handled by Aslan.
I was going to say, do they know that the spike is down here? Because we've got one member trailing through A-Link now. He's going to make it onto B site. G2 don't have control of the spike right now. Whether or not this is just them anticipating a lurk, because they're being very thorough and checking the rest of the map right now. You can see AORUS and Pat tucked all the way in C-Long cubby still. But yeah, fantastic response from Aslan. As soon as the showstopper comes out, you can see they're like, okay, get the hell out of here now. We've got to get out of this lane that we find ourselves in. But things will slow down now. 20 seconds left on the clock. They must know that Spike's down there. They must do.
Yeah, surely. CNED, Aslan in combination, still a bit costly, but Pip, known for his deagling ability back in the day. If you want to roll it back to Counter-Strike, that man was one of the first to make it look really, really good, especially in when he was out in North America for a little bit. So I'd love to see him get a little bit more comfy on the Sheriff, but unable to make much happen, and we are almost tied all even. This is the big one.
Yeah, again, because you buy around well, I mean, everybody except AORUS really is going to be struggling. They're going to be on like classics at best next round. And as we know, you lose your buy round and you're back on a thrifting. You've got to argue that it's going to be 2 rounds on the board in favor of BBL.
Here we go, CNED posted up towards middle. It seems like they really want to hit this C, and Aslan's having none of what David P's trying to bring. Instant rotations coming in. Mixwell is on the site, and Pitts found Aslan, so not so easy this time. Russ is there, tries to isolate one towards Long, but the spray's not clean, and this is looking a bit deadly, but the spike is all the way back by C Long. They can't get the spike down because it's not in hand.
It's the second time as well we've seen this. They have control of sight, and they allow the rotation to come through. Now they've cleaned it up a little bit, but nobody has the spike. AORUS is going to retrieve it now.
CNED's will find Lego too.
Yeah. If he peeks out a connector here, he might find AORUS, and then the spike's going to go down. Oh,
he hasn't crossed
watching
yet.
It, please keep watching it.
Okay,
no, the dark cover's gone out. Yeah.
Nice work from Omen there. Good awareness from Patty Tech to allow the cross to come in. Bit of a fumble on the spike there for sure, but it doesn't matter. They're in a good enough post-plant scenario. I like the late lurk, but Caro finding AORUS means it's down to a bit of a big play from Patty Tech. CNED's so confident to go for that sort of play, but Patty Tech finds him, and now who's left alive? It's Caro. Dead, buried, it's done, 10-8. But keep in mind, this is the most rounds, I'm pretty sure, we've seen come in against G2. I think 8 was the previous highest amount in this tournament, and that was by Giants. So we'll see if any more get on the board. I feel as though there's still at least another round in BBL here. I don't think this is going to be a 12-8. I feel like this is, I think it's going to go G2's way, but surely there's more to be seen from these guys.
I mean, BBL straight back on the buy, obviously. I think they've wait, do they not? Unless this is just a weapon choice here from Aslan to go for the judge. Maybe they're going on a part buy, because I can see Lego with a Spectre. The Hunter's Fury actually going to follow up on the Owl drone tag right off the rip, and you can see David P ready to put down the barrier orb on B site. Revive comes through on C, and that's going to pull G2 back down mid. So
Caro's found out no one's here though.
Yeah,
they know it's a fake on B. But I think they're misreading it to be an A hit. Yeah, they're pulling players in the wrong direction. This is going to come down to the Raze and the Omen on C. This has to be a really, really well-handled play, and you do have that judge there. It could do some work, but 2 angles to try and control.
Aslan.
It's such a misread. Oh, that's so unfortunate. It's going to be full retake time. Aslan's too late to the party. He's going to be fed to the wolves. Down he goes. Unfortunate for BBL. A bit of an incorrect gamble stack. Honestly, if I'm them, if I don't get a pick almost instantaneously, I'm considering the save.
Yeah. Again, without looking at it mid-round, I'm not going to be able to tell you what the situation is. Kiro's obviously got the Phantom in hand. Now that puts it to a 4v4. So the option's there if they get another kill now. They've obviously got some utility. The Paranoia is still available here, but Mixwell going to shut Lego down before he can use it. And actually, okay, 2-for-2 trade now. So a 2v2 now. And Pat going to get a bit overzealous there. I say that he doesn't get punished for that peak, and the trade actually comes out in favor of G2. The slow orb's down. Pat's all the way in connector, but the time's already run out here. So I'm confused as to why they committed to the retake there, Lauren. They had an operator, a Phantom, and considering the fact there was a judge and a Spectre on the board, you've got to assume that's because their economy wasn't looking great.
Can they get a buy here? Not really.
Yeah,
they can, but it's not good. They might have just kind of screwed themselves in the economy this time. Maybe in their minds they were trying to break the opponents. I get it. They're going to force them down to a light buy, but they're in no better position, and the scoreline is going to be 12 against them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only consideration I make is if you do that when G2 are potentially going to then capitalize and go to match point off it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but that seemed a little odd. Maybe send the Spectres in to do some damage and not lose the Operator and the Phantom. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sold right now, but we'll see. Quick little TP from Patitech. Maybe looking for an early spike plant, gets himself behind any lines. A little nice idea with the spike though. Yeah, no idea. Misread coming in. Nice work from Patitech. The man is showing his real talent on this Omen. Reads the next play as well. Lego's in trouble. This is looking like G2 have really got him. One slip up and they're going to punish BBL drastically.
Yeah, and I mean, that's we'll find one there on Artist. Paranoia comes through, but nobody. Actually, Mixwell was close enough to capitalize on it, but won't find it yet. And they're absolutely going to punish, as they're not going to allow him to save that Phantom. And the economy's in tatters now. And I hate to say I told you so, but that's on the back of a questionable decision. They are going to get some rifles back on the board. 2 Phantoms, a Guardian with a light armor, Spectre, and a Sheriff. And that's not what you want to be working with when G2's on match point.
No, definitely not ideal. Again, this is why G2 are some of the best there is. You can't make small mistakes. Any other team, you'd probably be fine. But these guys, they see a small error, they're going to punish that all day long. Let's see what BBL brings, though. This is their chance to try and make it count. G2 going for what looks like a contact towards B. They're not doing too much beyond that. Nothing too fancy. Russ needs to back away. Don't overstay this one. Got to buy a bit of time here.
Yeah, this is the first time I've actually seen G2 commit into the B site, but Spike all the way outside Garden, and Kiro going to find David P in mid, and Pitt still got to make his way through mid with the Spike, so they have control, and there you go. Kiro will find Pitt in window, and now things don't look great for G2. Artist and Mixwell will find one apiece, but Cena there with the response. Now it's just Pat, and
please pick up the Spike.
That's a little bit of a weird round.
Pick up the damn Spike.
I find it strange we're talking about the Spike being down in spawn twice in the same game.
Stop it, G2. Stop it.
Did they just want a deathmatch there?
Maybe it's like, you know what? I like these guys. Let's give them a go. Let's give them another shot at it. Now, again, it is still back to the wall gaming. It's still not easy for BBL. Keep that in mind. They have a better buy to work with. But imagine if the Spike was just in the correct hands on that B hit. Suddenly, it'd been a bit of a different picture. However, Omen, leaning A this time for the defensive team, puts down the smoke towards C long. Artist going to capitalize on that, get himself up on the ultimate now. So he's got that to work with. Always deadly. Never seems to waste it. But that C plant was a problem last time, but I doubt it's going to be an issue again. And
as well, Artist, one of the sovers that always manages to find a pick with Hunter's Fury, and it's not the easiest ultimate to use. But again, situationally, now he's going to prove me wrong because he's just going to send this one through A-Link. Thanks very much, Artist. That was a zoning ultimate. That was just gain some map control there.
Don't mind
obviously.
It either. Yep. Mixwell going to find Kerr, a bit of a trade back and forth. This is just that messy kind of weird battle towards window, bit of mid. But look at where the Spike's going. It's A and it's C net to hold this. Just about makes it out alive. Needs to get around the corner. Just about makes it. The Omen ready to pick up the slack. Dives right in there. Lego trying to help out his buddies, but Artist is on the task and he's not going to let this one slip. The site's theirs. The utility is down and the Spike will be soon. Yeah, and BBL backs against the wall. Everything to play for here if they want to keep Haven going. But 2 players up in heaven. This is difficult. The showstopper's actually going to get popped, and that's going to find Mixwell on default. Russ has got to swing onto Graffiti here, but the crossfire is good. Pitt will find one, and he will find his third on the round there. Shut that one down and put G2 one map up against BBL. 13-9 though. That's a good game. That's a good one. I'll take that. It may not be the win we were expecting, but it wasn't. It's not the win, but that was a closer game than most people were expecting. I'm really, really happy to see that. As said, you look at BBL, and yeah, they make a couple of fumbles here and there. G2 capitalize, but they were close in so many of these rounds here, HYPERX.
They took the game to G2, though. I mean, yeah, you could talk about fumbles, but I mean, the rounds that BBL were coming out with weren't necessarily misplays from G2, especially when you think back to like a couple of the thrifty rounds where BBL's kind of aggression was what won them there. And it's rare to say that, you know, there's a team that plays this aggressively against G2, because they're the ones we always talk about with this heavy 1v1 fragging out deathmatch kind of play style that works for them, because they have 5 very talented players. But I'm surprised to see that, and it's good to see. I mean, I'm hoping this now goes the distance, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'd love that. I do worry that Ascent's coming up next. It's going to be a little bit more of a one-sided affair. I think that's just knowing how good G2 are as a team on that. But honestly, the playstyle we just saw coming out from BBL was great. I loved it. I loved them being fiery. I loved those fights. I loved the kind of confidence. And even when they did lose a couple of rounds here and there, they didn't seem to get in their own heads. They just bounced right back. That's pretty sick. Honestly, this is a pretty tasty team to watch. Yes, you know, the scoreline wasn't as close as it could have been, but they did better than anyone else in this tournament.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And to say that, I mean, it's a statement to be the ones testing G2 in a series. We haven't seen many other teams come close to that. And I mean, I mentioned them before the game. Aslan and CNED really impressed me individually. I guess if we were to talk about just positioning, mechanics, and utility usage, Aslan looked fantastic on Raze. And this double duelist, again, I criticized it earlier in the day, but they made it work in that game, even if they lost.
Yeah, I mean, certain players, certain teams can definitely make it look good if you got those fragger players in check. So yeah, great game so far. Bear in mind, Ascent coming up is going to be another check on these guys. We'll see how deep they can run this against G2. I do want to say though, AORUS, what an absolute beast during that series. So many clutches, so many 1v3s, or 3Ks throughout a round. He was called upon to deliver, and he did, I think, at HYPERX.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And I mean, it started from round 2, where it's pushing down A long with a Phantom, picking up a 4-piece. That's a statement to make in the first 2 rounds. And again, we talked about it, get inside your opponent's head, keep them second guessing. Are we going to get pushed into our own spawn? But yeah, I mean, that's what we've come to expect of players like AORUS, and we've come to expect of G2, honestly. I keep coming back to it. I just love the play style, these defensive executes where they'll send somebody out, the information is gathered, they send one back to rotate, the other 2, they push and they take a very, very deep position, and they get that early information, because it makes it so difficult. If you need to kill somebody in a lobby and then get all the way to site, it just causes such an issue. And there are a few other teams that do that so well.
All right. I'm gonna leave you guys wanting for more. We're gonna head to a short break, but when we're back, map 2 is on the way. Now keep in mind, this is the home turf of G2. Ascent has been their castle and no one's even come close. But that first map is something that BBL should be proud of. Yes, it wasn't the win that maybe they wanted, but they definitely pushed G2 to bring a better game than we've seen most of this tournament. So guys, don't go too far away. D-Man will be jumping with HYPERX to close out potentially the series, or opening up to a third map. We'll find out in just a moment's time.